Good evening, Fernwood. It is your fact-finding friend Neil here, and it's time for us to face front and watch a new episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Today we will be watching the episode from July 1st, 1976, which happens to be the penultimate episode of Season 1. And when I mentioned finding facts earlier, I discovered something about Season 1 and Season 2, and I suppose you'll have to wait for after the episode for me to tell you what that is. So let's go ahead and recap. We started yesterday in New York City with Mary talking to the producer of the most typical consumer housewife contest about the talk show that she would be appearing on. During the meeting, Mary receives a mysterious call from Tom, who happened to find the number of the producer somehow. He is drunk off his butt, but also expresses some amount of love for Mary as he gets cut off, and that puts Mary in a desperate mood. Next door at the Shumways, Kathy gets a visit from Father DeMarco, who admits that not only has he been questioning his role as a priest altogether, but that he has very strong feelings for Kathy. After the commercial break, George comes in crying out for Martha, who seems to have disappeared since the protest that was attended yesterday. Raymond comes in and explains that Martha got on a bus yesterday with a lot of Native American folks, and then they discover a note from Kathy, who has made a very important decision, and of course that drives George right over the edge. The next scene takes place in New York City with Mary wandering around killing time before her interview. She walks into a toy store and becomes very enamored with a dollhouse that she finds there. The toy store owner makes very clear that the dollhouse is not for sale, but Mary insists that she wants that specific dollhouse as the store is getting closed. Back at the Shumways, Martha comes home to explain that she and Billy 12trees got on a bus. She left as soon as she found out that there would be some violence, some kind of gang-style violence going on at the protest. Tom comes in and is, of course, very out of sorts and drunk as usual. Martha does her best to express some affection for Tom, but everything is just left in disarray. That was our recap of yesterday's episode. Let us begin, and as I said, we'll talk about Season 2 after this episode.
All right, let's get this sweater. It's gonna be a great double feature, son. Old Yeller and Call of the Wild.
But, Daddy...
Oh, wait a minute. Let me get this. You don't have any money, do you? Here. There you go. Now, look, son, don't stop anywhere along the way, okay? I want you to be very careful. And just remember that the Lord will protect, but it's always good to watch the P's and Q's, okay?
I know he'll protect me, Daddy, but I'm worried what evil force might take a hold of you. I can see now that the devil's wrestling with your soul again. And I think it would be best if I stayed here to save you from the torment, even though I like the treat to the picture show and all.
Yeah, well, son, look, don't worry about me at all, okay? I'm gonna be fine.
You may be fine now, but I'm hearing a voice that says my pa's heading for bad trouble.
Jimmy Joe, look, I'll tell you when you hear voices, okay?
But can't we even say a prayer before I leave?
Come here a minute, son. Now, look, I don't want you to worry about the weakness coming over me this time, okay? Something much more powerful and good is coming over here tonight. Mrs. Haggers. She's coming over here to rehearse her act for our Chicago revival. And I promise you something, son. I promise you here and again that Loretta's gonna make a good mommy for you and a fine wife for your daddy. You can bet on that.
Daddy, that's gambling.
Mrs. Hartman, will you listen to me for a minute, please?
Yes?
This dollhouse is not for sale. It absolutely is not. Now, you have been sitting there for 2 hours staring at it. It's a display, a model.
No, but I desperately have to have this dollhouse. See, it's my daughter's birthday soon. It's for my daughter's birthday. See, and I just must have
But it is not for sale.
Could I see the manager?
I am the manager.
Well, just tell me what do you want for it? I'll give you anything you want for it. Just tell me what do you want. I mean, what do you get for it? I mean, I promise I'll get you anything.
It is not
anything.
for sale. And lady, please, I can't do it. I just can't.
You don't understand.
This dollhouse is not for sale, and it never will be. It belonged to the owner, and she's had it ever since she was a little child. It's just here for promotion.
Well, it sounds shady to me, but I'm not going to report it. I'm just going to buy it. Don't you see? It's exactly what my husband and my daughter and I are looking for. It's exactly what we need. You have no idea how important this is. I mean, it's just everything that we want. We could move in immediately. Could I just have 2 aspirins and a glass of water, please? Thank you. Oh, see, look. A little music box. Heather's music box.
Good morning, darling.
Oh, my sweet.
Thank you for last night, love.
Oh, thank you for all the nights, love. And the dawns, plus the sunrises.
We do go on and on, don't we? So, what's for breakfast this morning?
Mushroom omelet, strawberry crepes, eggs Benedict, and French toast with whipped cream.
Ah, just what I wanted.
And what's in the paper this morning, darling? Anything pleasant?
I'm afraid not, my darling. Just the usual. Mass murders, foolish housewives, fibroid tumors, dead nuns.
Oh, dear Tom. May we always be this far from the eye of the hurricane.
Massage parlor raids, crooked union exposés, perverted old men, social diseases.
Enough. The child, my dear.
Good morning, Mother dear. I didn't hear a thing.
Oh, thank you, darling.
Good morning, Father.
How's my princess this morning? Prompt for school, I see.
Oh, yes. I wouldn't want to be late today. I'm to be awarded the school posture prize again.
4th year in a row, isn't it, darling?
5th, Mummy.
Ah, 5th, darling. And the business, Tom? How's the business? Busy?
Perfect, Mary, perfect. What brings a man more happiness in his work? One guess.
His home life.
Got it.
And I love you so very much. And we love you so very much.
And I love you so very much, Father. And I love you so very much, Mummy.
And what will your day be like?
Oh, I imagine just like yours. Perfect. My beloved mother is coming over, and my best friend Loretta is coming over, and we'll probably sit around doing crewling and needle pointing. And then we'll probably launch into a lively discussion of the latest great book seminar.
And how's your father? My chum.
You know, it's very interesting, Tom, but sometimes I think that he and Mother are just as in love as you and I. I mean, it's just too silly.
May I have some more milk? I do so love it.
Well, certainly, darling. Let me get it for you.
No. I'll get it myself. I was just only asking permission.
Have you heard from your sister Kathy lately?
Oh, no. She's not allowed to be writing letters now. This is her novitiate period.
Oh, well. I see. Well, I really must run.
Run? Then why did you buy the Mercedes?
Clever, Mary. Shall I give you a lift, sweetheart?
Oh, how perfect. I shall sit in the back and make phone calls to my friends on the way to school. Goodbye, Mother.
Bye, darling. I
Bye-bye,
love you.
sweetheart.
Bye, darling. I love you. Oh, perfect husband. Oh, perfect daughter. Oh, perfect coffee. Perfect.
Mrs. Hartman! Mrs. Hartman, we've been looking for you everywhere. Saks, Bergdorf's. What are you doing in a toy store?
I think she's been daydreaming. Here's your aspirin.
No, daydream.
Mrs. Hartman, look, we gotta hurry. We're gonna be late.
Oh, okay, then I'll don't bother to wrap it. I'll just take it as it is.
But you cannot take it with you.
No, but I'm not leaving without it. You see, it's my house, you see, and you can't take a person's house away from them in this country.
Mrs. Hartman is in town for the David Susskind show. She's been chosen as America's typical housewife consumer.
Yes, I heard that.
Yes, well, so if you'll just wrap this and charge it to David Susskind, I'll give you the address.
This dollhouse is not for sale.
Look, I don't think you understand. It's for David Susskind.
I understand the house is not for sale.
David Susskind of the David Susskind show.
You mean that David Susskind wants me to have this doll's house? Oh, how wonderful.
Mrs. Hartman, look, you can stand here all night and look at the dollhouse, or you can be on television with David Susskind. Now, which will it be?
Excuse me. I'll be back the next time I'm in town.
Hello, everyone. I'm David Susskind. Tonight, we're going to be transmitting live, coast to coast, a very special program. We're going to take an intimate look into America itself, her hopes, her dreams, her frustrations, and her buying habits. We'll see film taken in the home of one of our guests. We'll have a discussion by a panel of experts. But we'll begin with America's typical consumer housewife herself, Mary Hoffman.
Hartman. That's Mary Hartman. Mary Hartman.
Mary Hartman.
Hartman. Mary, yes.
You're an American consumer.
And a housewife and a mother and a consumer. Oh, and of course an American, yes.
In a couple of moments, we're going to see a film of your life, you know.
A week in my life. Oh, it won't run a week. It doesn't run a week. It is, they cut that all down. It's about 5 days, but it's a very typical 5 days, right?
Right, but after that, we're going to meet a panel of experts. You're going to meet Shirley Steen, she's a feminist. You're going to meet Norma Nardine, consumer advocate, and Tucker McMarshall, author of The Medium is Extreme, and they're going to ask you some questions.
Oh, by the way, to which I have not been supplied the answers in advance.
Thank you. But before that, though, I wonder if you could tell us a little something about yourself.
What?
Well, anything. Your background, how you enjoy your stay in New York now.
Yes.
What?
Yes, I'm enjoying my stay in New York. I am a typical tourist. And I am facing the typical tourist problems, you know, like I'm feeling a little lost and a little nervous, and there was this place they wouldn't sell me a doll's house, and everything is a little rushed.
Have you been rushed all your life?
Not as a child. As a matter of fact, I was a very slow child until I bloomed, which was thanks to Clearasil, frozen pizza, and Tom McCann flats. I liked those flats because they were good. They never gave me those blisters, you know, right there in the back of my heel. You know, there.
Yes. You married young.
Yes, 17.
That's very young.
Well, you see, we lived in Ohio, and there wasn't a lot to do.
And you married your high school sweetheart.
Yeah, Tom Hartman, which I would like to say now that contrary to what a lot of people think, young marriages do work.
They do?
Yes, they do. They're very good for a relief of tension and getting out of the house. I mean, that is your parents' house, and then getting into your own house, which you don't have to keep as tidy. We were very lucky, though, because when I got married, we got as gifts several Speed Queen appliances, which we used, and it made life much easier for us. Now, my mother, she used Bendix. Now, I think they're out of business, I'm not sure, but they were also a very good product, if I remember.
It says here in my notes that you're separated.
From what?
Your husband.
Oh, yes, of course, that's true. That's true. But it was a wonderful 14 years. Wonderful. And I have nothing to say against my marriage. In fact, I wouldn't even say that we were actually separated. I mean, we're not living together, but a lot of psychiatrists say that that can be very good for a couple every once in a while.
Experts also say that women control the nation's paychecks, that a man takes charge once in a while of a big purchase, maybe in the family's life, a house, a car, Winnebago, but that for the most part, the wife spends the monies on the day-to-day purchases. Was that a conflict for you? Is that one of the reasons for, you know, your troublous strain, for breaking up?
We're not broken up, David. That's a terrible thing to say. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it all right if I call you David?
Of course.
Oh, well, let me explain something to you. Families, to everyone, families do not break up. I mean, sometimes there is a strain in the relations in the families, but they do not break up. You see, break up implies brittleness. Now, people are not brittle. Peanut is brittle, as in peanut brittle. Oh, which, by the way, is our favorite candy. Now, of course, it sticks to your teeth, but thank God, for 1995, we were able to get the water pick.
Your husband, John,
Tom.
Would you say that you and he were equally product-oriented?
Well, we like to lead a good life, David.
No, I mean, did the demands of a consumer society, did the constant titillation of this device or that gadget, or whatever was the newest thing, did these demands cause a strain in your relationship?
You know, David, we have always only bought products that we thought would be very helpful around the house. So I'm sorry, I just don't really see what you're getting at.
Did you fight? Look, it says here in these notes again that you and your daughter, for example, were frequently arguing about whether to buy or not to buy.
Can I see that, please?
Well, yeah, it won't make a lot of sense, but there it is.
Well, that's wrong. We do not fight. Fighting is destructive, especially if it's something as harmful to your child as platform shoes.
What do you want for her?
Who?
Your daughter.
What do I want her for?
What do you want for her?
Oh, what do I want for her?
When she grows up.
Flats. Oh, I'm sorry, you said when she grows up?
Yes.
The best. That's what I want. I want the best. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's very hard for me to say for her what would be good for her when she grows up. I mean, she's an individual, and that's the kind of thing that she has to decide for herself about what she wants when she grows up. And believe me, Heather is an individual, and, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up, so... And I think that I've spent, like a lot more time than her thinking about this,
Would you like to look at the film of your week?
Oh, you mean of my life? Have you seen it?
Not edited, no.
Oh, because I'm very concerned about it. You see, I wanted to look my best. And I was in the 5th day of my 8th day Revlon beauty plan. That was a joke, David.
Let's look at the film.
Okay. Oh, David, before we look at it, could I ask you one question? I have heard that on television you tend to look 5 pounds heavier. Do I look 5 pounds heavier?
Don't worry. Just look at the film.
July 1976, America. Just in time for the 200th anniversary of the world's greatest experiment in freedom and human individuality. We're in Ohio, the heart of America, with a consumer who buys everything 200 years has to sell. Her name is Mary Hartman. She's not rich, but she's not poor. She's not famous, but she's not forgotten. She's just trying to make a life of some comfort and purpose for the loved ones around her with the information and materials she has at hand.
I look 13 pounds heavier.
We get a scene between Merle Jeters and Jimmy Joe Jeters as Jimmy Joe heads off to do who knows what before Loretta gets there, and Merle promises Jimmy Joe that Loretta's gonna be his new mom, and that sounds really just disgusting to me. Then Mary with the dollhouse, and it is not for sale because it's an heirloom, and of course we're going to have the dream sequence of Mary's idyllic life, the way that she wants it to be. And that, I think, is so painful because it's not real. That's the thing that was painful for me, that's not what she's going to go back to. She wants something so far from reality that it's painful to see what she wants, because that's not what she's going to have. And that's not to say she can't improve her lot in life, but it's just unrealistic. And that's something that has been with Mary since the beginning, this sort of picture perfect household. The word perfection was repeated so many times in that scene, and there's no living up to it. You can't be perfect. And then bringing her to the David Susskind show. So many moments in this show are characters having a monologue, expressing their point of view, and I feel like even though we have a talk show host there, this is Mary saying in a very scattered and messy way the way she views the world. She believes that her life is idyllic, and she believes that her life is perfect, and it's not. And that is just so troubling. I did discover something about season 2 of the show as I put in the DVD for the series, and that is that season 2 is 3 whole months after season 1. So July 2nd is the end of season 1. That's tomorrow's episode. And, well, there's 3 months in between that episode and the next episode that starts season 2. I guess to find out what that means for us here, you're going to have to tune in tomorrow. So thank you so much for showing up. Thank you so much for facing front. And we will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.